Gentlemen, start your engines.
"37 cars roar to life in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania as we get set for the Champion Sparkplug 500 Winston Cup race on this Sunday afternoon. Last Sunday at Sears Point International Raceway in Sonoma, California, tensions ran high. The often bump-and-run tactics in road course racing turned into a collision course. On the next-to-last lap, Davey Allison had the lead over Ricky Rudd as the two came to turn 11 up bumps and Allison sideways. It looked as if Rudd would win the race, but NASCAR officials gave him the black flag. The crew and Rudd had to settle for a second-place finish. Allison got the checkered flag and his second win in 3 Winston Cup tries. At the beginning of May in Talladega, Harry Gant was winning on empty under the close eyes of NASCAR. Gant, the master of mileage and the defending champion here at Pocono, is hoping the Father's Day will bring him good luck again. He's set to challenge Pocono, the super speedway that drives like a road course. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Today, live from Pocono International Raceway in Pennsylvania, it's the Champion Sparkplug 500 Winston Cup race. And it is a hot and humid Sunday afternoon. There is a chance of thunderstorms late this afternoon, but things are okay right now. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Pocono, and happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. We hope you enjoy this afternoon's race. When we left the air last Sunday at Sonoma, we didn't know exactly how the final outcome would be because of the penalty to be assessed against Ricky Rudd. Now, here are the top 5 finishers from last weekend. Davey Allison was the winner. Ricky Rudd finished second, followed by Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, and Ken Schrader. Dale Earnhardt finished in 7th position. However, in the quest for the Cup, Dale Earnhardt remains on top of the point standings. Ricky Rudd is 53 behind, followed by Ken Schrader, then Darrell Waltrip, and Ernie Irvan. Now, one guy not in the top 5 of points has won the pole for today's race, and he apparently is putting his season together. For more on that, let's go to the pit area and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. You know, early in the year, there was a lot of speculation and possibly some internal turmoil maybe somewhere in the Roush team, and they really put a lot of pressure on themselves, wanting to win fresh out of the box here in 1991 after this a great year in 1990. But Jack Roush, in the past 5 weeks, you guys have really put this operation back on its feet. Your second pole in 4 races, a near win. You came so close at Sonoma last week. What's been the difference?
Well, I think it's just come together. You know, we kind of lost our measure of things last year late, and as we started this year, we were sure it would come right back to us. It didn't. We struggled with it some. We're all real bad losers. The one thing that's easy to overlook, you know, this Winston Cup program is more than 40 years old, and quite a number of the teams have been together 15 years or so. So you can't build a Winston Cup team in just 2 or 3 years. This is our 4th year right now, and we're still working on our chemistry and making the best compromise in all the different experience backgrounds that have come together. We'll be stronger this year, and we'll be even stronger in the future. I hope to win today. Certainly, if we don't win, we'll win very soon.
Well, Jack Roush, the team really coming together, and we might mention that there were rumors that possibly Mark Martin would not be here. That is not the case. Martin will be here through 1993. And so from a new team with new life to a new tire further up pit road, where John Curtin is standing. John?
Well, Jerry, it's at least new here to Pocono. I'm talking about the Goodyear Eagle Radial. It is now being used on 9 tracks on the Winston Cup circuit. The results here at Pocono have been tremendous. 17 drivers broke the track qualifying record in practice on Friday. Now, the reason for the increased speed, very simply, these tires are a little bit softer, also better front bite. They allow the drivers to brake more effectively, and that also means that they can stay on the gas a lot longer around this track at full throttle, so thus the increased speeds. Now also the radial tire is very puncture resistant, and we have seen problems here in the past at Pocono with a lot of cut tires. That should alleviate some of that. Now Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt have both tested the radial tire here. Of course, Mark is on the pole, but Dale had his problems. For more on that, let's go to Ned Jarrett.
he'll have a tough time in the early going of this race. He had a poor qualifying run. We'll start back in 21st place. He thought he had a car capable of sitting on the pole, but afterwards he said that he wrecked in all 3 turns. This is a very tough racetrack to try to come up through the pack on, but if anybody's up to it, it certainly will be Earnhardt. Now this track has 3 distinct turns, tough to set a race car up for, and a challenge for the driver once the green flag drops. As they go into turn 1, they have 14 degrees of banking in that turn. That's not too abnormal as far as some of the other tracks that they run on. And then they go on a long straightaway to what we call the tunnel turn, and that's turn 2. There's only 8 degrees of banking in that turn. And then they have another straightaway going into turn 3 and only 6 degrees of banking there. But that perhaps is one of the most critical turns as far as speed around this racetrack is concerned. If you don't get off of turn 3 good, you don't go down the long straightaway very fast, and that can affect your overall speed. Now another thing that comes into play here at Pocono is gas mileage. If you run out of gas going down the front straightaway into turn 1 or even into turn 2, it's almost impossible to coast back to the start-finish line. We'll see some drivers stretching it here today. The king of gas mileage is perhaps Harry Gant, and don't be surprised to see that father and grandfather pull it off here on Father's Day, Bob.
Thank you very much, Ned. And now let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's champion Sparkplug 500, the die-hard starting grid. Mark Martin is the pole sitter, breaking the previous track record by more than 3 miles an hour at 161.996. He drives the Folgers Ford. Outside of row number 1 will be Alan Kowicki from Greenfield, Wisconsin, in the number 7 Hooters Ford. Starting in 3rd position, inside of row number 2, Ernie Irvin from Modesto, California, in the number 4 Kodak Film Chevy. To his right will be Ricky Rudd from Chesapeake, Virginia, in the number 5 Tide Chevrolet. Going to row number 3 now, it's Michael Waltrip from Owensboro, Kentucky, in the number 30 Pennzoil Pontiac, and then Derry Cope from Spanaway, Washington, in the Purolator Chevy car number 10. In row number 4, it's Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri, in the Kodak Chevrolet car number 25, and Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, in the Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile car number 33. Starting in 9th position will be Rusty Wallace in the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. He's from St. Louis. And then last week's winner, Davey Allison from Hueytown, Alabama, in the number 28 Haviland Ford. Starting in 11th position, inside of row number 6, will be Rick Wilson alongside Morgan Shepherd. Row number 7 is Darrell Waltrip in car 17 and Terry Labonte in 94. And as you look at the rest of the starting lineup, the field is now in between turns number 2 and 3. I believe they're going to take one more lap before we get the starting lineup, and 200 laps of competition on this 2.5-mile super speedway here at Pocono.
And it is a very demanding racetrack, Bob, not only of the drivers, but of the race cars themselves, because the turns are so different here. It is almost impossible to set a car up to where it feels good to the driver all the way around the racetrack. They normally have to compromise somewhere on the racetrack to get it to where they can get around at a reasonable speed.
They're leading the cars down pit road to give them an indication of exactly what speed they should travel when they come in and out of the pit area for their stops. Welcome to Pocono on this Sunday afternoon as we get set for live coverage of this Winston Cup race from Pocono International Raceway. The champion Sparkplug 500 is about to go in just one more lap. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you this afternoon by Champion Spark Plugs, the world's #1 selling spark plug, no matter what you drive. By today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. Stand by, we'll be right back with the Champion Spark Plug 500 from Pocono, USA, right after this.